There is a very nasty pile-on going on against Nicola Young. Of course, there's always a nasty pile-on going on against me. I don't care. That's my job. And I think everyone's just got to stick. And I'd say to all the journalists losing their stuff and all the online trolls coming for me, what you need to do, people, is look for the facts. And I didn't know this. This is so nice. It happens rarely. We thought we were going to be talking to Andy Foster by telephone. But he's turned up and he's coming in to join us in the office, the former Mayor of Wellington who lost to Tory Whanau. He is coming in to sit with us, and he's also, of course, a new MP, and we're going to have a talk to him about that. It's quite a remarkable political trail that our next guest has travelled. He's now a Member of Parliament for New Zealand First. Come in, Andy. Come in and have a seat. And we didn't know he was coming in today. That's Ben's bad. You won't need headphones, Andy. Just sit down on the seat there and we'll start talking. Ben will run your microphone for you. We didn't realise you were coming in. My bad. Okay. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. I'm just giving the preamble to you. So ZB incorrectly suggested this morning that Justin Lester, who's been dusted off by his leftist mates to run interference for Tory Whanau, Justin Lester isn't Tory Whanau's predecessor. He was her predecessor's predecessor. Her predecessor was a guy called Andy Foster who lost to at the last election. And I think actually, and we haven't talked about this much on the program, pulled off a pretty interesting political rehabilitation. He went and joined New Zealand First and stood for them. And where was it, Andy? Mana. In fact, my tūranga waiwai, Mana. I grew up in Plymouth and Poirua. You stood there and you bloody well won, didn't you?
Well, I didn't win the electorate, but I'm in on the list.
You're in on the list.
It's a pretty hard gig winning some of those electorates when the majorities are quite what they are.
But Andy, you've gone from being mayor of Wellington, and I'll be honest, I look at it now. Is that a job that you want to have, given the problems of the city? You dodged a bullet there. You're now a member of Parliament, and you're a government member of Parliament in one foul swoop.
Well, it's we've got two things to cover there, but it's very exciting to be where I am, and we've got a big job to do for the country, to fix the country. Yeah. Of course, the city's got a big job to do as well to fix the city, and there's a lot of challenges there.
Yeah, and I know that you care about that, too. You don't become Mayor of Wellington unless you do. And I think we do have to have this conversation, and it's a conversation that should have been had more readily at the election, and it's not a personal conversation. It's a conversation about the appropriateness of people who hold publicly elected office and holding that office in high regard. Now, I want to clarify first, you don't drink, do you?
Oh, yes, I do.
You do drink?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
someone told me you were a Baptist.
I have a Baptist upbringing, but, I think people, it's a broad church there.
Like anyone, might have the odd beer after work?
I'm more of a wine and cider man. But,
all right. This was talked about at the time of election, that Tory Whanau was a party girl. In fact, I'm going back over some columns, and people say, you've got to stop calling her a party girl. That's wrong. That's a terrible thing for journalists to say. Well, I'm sorry, Andy, we now have two instances where the mayor has Okay, I'll put it this way. When you were Mayor of Wellington, would you have gone out and drunk to excess and failed to pay a bill and done a runner and said, do you know who I am?
Well, I haven't done that when I was Mayor of Wellington. I haven't done it at any time. So,
okay. Would you have gone to a bar and drunk to the point where you did something inappropriate that perhaps got filmed by someone else?
As I said, I haven't done that at any time. Doesn't matter whether I was Mayor of Wellington or at a councillor or on private.
Okay. The only reason we know about this is because Tory Whanau, through Chloe Schwabrick's wife, who was her media advisor, it's a very tight little circle, put out a statement 2 days ago saying that she had a drinking problem, and there was a video of her having a drinking problem, or there might have been a video, and she just wanted to call for support. She said before that she would deal with this issue. It is an issue by her own admission. I would say that Wellington's problems are pretty huge at the moment. There are a lot of really important issues. We've got the axing of the goal of the Let's Get Wellington moving project. We've got the controversy over reading. You would have walked in this morning and seen the leaking bloody fire hydrant outside this building that still hasn't been fixed over a year. Do you think, and I want you to put personality politics aside, do you think that someone can be at the head of a council with those sorts of challenges when they are dealing with what is quite clearly a serious alcohol addiction problem?
Well, I suppose I'd answer it this way, which is to say that being the mayor of any place is really important. You're the front person. You're the ambassador for the place. With a city like Wellington, it's a complicated city. You've got a $9 billion business there to run, and the city has an enormous number of challenges at the moment. So you've got to be 100% on your game, 24/7, 365 days of the year.
Yeah. Can you do that if you are dealing with an alcohol problem that leads you to make bad decisions and indulge in self-destructive behaviour?
Well, I leave that for other people to make.
Andy, I'm asking you, and I've got you in here because you have done this job, and I think you're a fair person, and you have got the experience, to make a judgment and to have an opinion on this that is valid.
Oh, look, I think it's a real challenge.
Okay. Do you think, let's get direct then. Do you think it would be appropriate, and I'd also say this in our own interest, I understand that mayors have unlimited leave if they want to take it, right? That she could walk away and say, I'm going to do 3 months of rehab, I'm going to step aside from the job, I've got a deputy, I'm going to deal with this, and come back after 3 months. What do you think? What would you do if you were Tory Whanau?
Well, I probably wouldn't be doing some of the things that she has clearly done. You've got to say, am I up for focusing 100% on this job? My city needs a leader that is absolutely focused on and able to focus on doing the job that the city needs. And that's the question I would be asking myself.
And what would your answer be under the current circumstances?
Look, it's not for me to answer that.
It bloody well is, actually. I've got to say, it is actually. And you're one of the few people who can. And I'd take their answer credibly, Andy. That's why I'm asking you the question. Should she resign, or should she just take a break and deal with this problem so she can do the job properly?
Look, she's obviously got to be thinking about that very, very carefully, what she needs to do. And she's the one who's going to have to answer that. Obviously, a lot of people are asking questions of her about it. And she's going to have to front to answer that. And doing it by press statement ultimately is not going to be the way to do that.
As I said, I didn't even know about the story until she put out the press statement. I was unaware.
I had heard some things which had obviously gone on.
You'd heard the rumours before the press statement?
I'd heard some rumours before the press statement, yeah.
Yeah, it's a small town, and you obviously mix in very, very bad circles of people who go around spreading rumours.
Some of the same circles that she mixes with.
Andy, the other thing is really that the blowback against this, and as I said, she started it. She issued the press statement. I covered it yesterday, and instead of like the other media just covering the press statement without explaining what's behind it, I tried best as I could to say what had gone on and what I knew of what had gone on at Havana Bar. Of course, much of it is rumour and innuendo.
Indeed it is. And we've always got to be very careful of that.
And I am very careful of that, but it's a matter of public interest because she's a publicly elected official with a $9 billion budget that she's part of controlling. So that's why it's in the public interest. It's a journalist's job to go there. Not to publish the cover-up or the excuse.